Hello and welcome to My Fusion Helper. In this short video, I'm going to show you how to use the character and word count helper within your campaigns. Now, this is a unique helper. It's one of the things that we offer in the marketplace that others don't. And it enables some really neat segmentation options that are very powerful for sales, especially if you're doing high ticket sales and really just looking to grab the 1% of the hyper engaged people and connect with them directly with a sales rep, for example. Now, I'm first going to do a live demo of how it works, and then I'm going to kind of talk about some of the strategy and examples of when and where you might use it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so here in the app, the first thing that we want to do is type in to find it. Here's a character and word count, and we'll give it a name, word count demo. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is select the field that we want to count up, okay? And so this is the source field, and we'll just use an example, and I'll just pull up one here, and we'll use this one. And then we're going to put the example of where we're going to store it, and I'll put that in another field here, and that's going to store the word counts. Now, we have two different options here to select. We can either count the characters or we can count the words, and it'll parse out the number of words. Generally, I'm using a word count, but you could use character count as well. They might have more scientific reasons for the character count, but generally we're looking for word count. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and create the helper, and that's really all there is to it. It's very straightforward. You're just selecting a source field and a destination field and telling it whether to count characters or words. Now, once it's done, you're just going to copy that link and come into Infusionsoft and paste it into the URL the same way as all the others. So we can paste it in here and we can turn that on. We don't need to supply any other values, and you're all set up. So this is very straightforward and easy, just like any of the others. Now, let's go ahead and talk more about the strategic uses of this, because while it's a very simple function, it has some really powerful capabilities. So let's take a look at a couple of those examples. And the first one is using it to determine the most engaged leads based upon the length of their survey responses. Okay, so think about this scenario where you're doing some type of a survey when someone joins your list, or you're just sending out a survey in general, and the tricky way to do the surveys is to make most of your questions just a simple radio button where they can just only select one answer. They don't have to type anything. It's super easy, or sometimes a checkbox. Then you have what I like to call the decoy question, which is the question at the end. And it might be something as simple as any questions, whatever you'd like, but you put a long box where they can type in a lot of information. Now, I call it a decoy question because those that are intimately involved with sales know that the more someone types into that information, the more engaged they are with you. And if this is a survey about one of your products or a pre-sale survey, then those people that have typed in a lot of information are very likely to be strong candidates to buy. And so using that word count will allow you to segment your hottest leads and put them in a separate segment where you could then, route them straight to a sales call, for example. And that's really one of the great purposes of this. So the word counts, while they might have some mathematical functions for people and other values, I use this primarily for a sales segmentation process. Another great one is for webinars. Segmenting for webinars based upon the length of questions. So we're going to cover this in a separate helper, our GoToWebinar helper, which is the most advanced helper that we offer. And it's super sophisticated with all different types of ways of segmentation. But one of the ways that it allows you to segment is based on the word count as well. And so when you set up the GoToWebinar helper, you can save all of the questions that people ask during the webinar and save that in a text field. Then you can turn around and calculate the number of words in those questions. And again, segment your hyper-engaged people based on their interaction with the webinar itself. And that is going to lead to better sales conversions. So that is a brief demo of a couple of examples. I'm sure you can come up with many more. And that is a wrap.